Hi and welcome, I'm John and this is Unique Wargame Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a Let's Build video. What are Let's Build videos and what they're all about? Well, Let's Build video, I take a model kit and I'll show you how to put it together. If there's anything different number wise from the sprue, from the instructions, I'll let you guys know. Sometimes I'll put a model kit together, let's say it's from a combat patrol box, but then someone else is building the model actually from the box it comes in, and the numbers on the instructions are different to the sprue that they have and stuff like that. Don't panic, because I'll show you the piece that we're using, so you've got a visual aid of what to do. If you suffer from dyslexia or just struggle with instructions in general, again, this is a visual aid to help you. If you're interested in models for an army that you have, or that you're thinking of getting but don't know how difficult they are to build, again, this is a visual aid to help you out. So for all my regulars here, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. Right, so you would have seen from the thumbnail, I'm building a Catacomb Command Barge from the Imperium Magazine, because I've still got heaps of these to go through. And I said to myself, Necrons off the table for, at least a month. Let me start getting some of these bits and pieces built. And this is one that's really really making me go like, oh my goodness me, this is a crazy build. Now, the Catacomb Command Barge, if I'm not mistaken, if you bought the box set, the actual box of it, you can make the Catacomb Command Barge or the Annihilation Barge. Now, my initial thoughts with this was to make the Annihilation Barge, but there's only instructions in the Imperium Magazine to make the Catacomb Command Barge, which is, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about that. So that's what I'm going to make today. I just have to make that because that's what the instructions for. It doesn't even, I looked at the instructions, it doesn't even say to me, oh, at this point you can do this to make it into an Annihilation Barge, or just leave it as, it doesn't say that. It just gives you different weapon options for the Catacomb Command Barge, which is the Gauss blasters, or Gauss cannons, or the Tesla cannons. So, for everyone that's new here, we'll go through tools needed as always. So, mould line scraper. Now, you can use a hobby knife or some sort of surgical blade. If you're using a sharp tool, just be careful because it's a sharp tool. Just let everyone in the house know you're using one, so nobody scares you, no cats jump up at you, no little hands come along. Clippers, the most useful part of our kit. Now, it's a plastic kit, so plastic glue. I do have super glue at hand, just in case, but I don't really need it. I might need it in a few bits in here, because I've seen it says in the instructions, oh, there's a very small connection point here, so I might need that, I don't know. Sanding sponge. You get sanding sponge or sanding block. It's basically just a bit of sponge in the middle, but it's very flexible with sandpaper either side. So you, especially for builds like this, Necron builds, this is a must say. Now, you can also get little files. The files are like this sort of thing, but they're just a file. They come in different thicknesses and different grades. They're very handy as well, because you can get into really tight nooks and crannies. So for everyone that's new, the first thing we do when doing Let's Build is we look at the sprue, or sprues in this case. Then there's 3 sprues here. So this is the thing that confused me, and I thought, when I see it in the clear packet, because that base came inside with this. That base is to put an overlord onto if you're making it into an Annihilation Barge. But there's no instructions for that, so it's a bit weird. But there's like Gauss cannons. There's the big disruptor, the Annihilation cannon, and the other sprue has the Tesla cannon pass on it. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, I can start building. There's no instructions for that, unfortunately. So anyway, we'll go through the sprue and look at what's what, because especially like with sprue like this, you see all these parts and go, oh my goodness me, and then it gets put down and left for 3 or 4 months. So we've got the body of the barge here. We've got arms, which looks like the Necron Warrior arms, Necron Warrior bodies. We've got the Overlord's body. We've got some crazy bits and pieces here, which I have no idea. We've got the Gauss cannons, like I said. We've got the Overlord's bottom half of his body. It looks like the Overlord's chest piece. We have, that's one sprue. There's some more of the barge body. We have some, I presume these are Necron warrior bodies. We have the Annihilation cannons. They're absolutely beautiful. But anyway, there's some more miscellaneous bits and pieces for the barge. They're just not a clue what they are just yet until we get into it. We have the warrior bodies, which is very straightforward. Actually, I'm actually delighted like that, so it's a bit easy to build them. We have the barge itself, some more bits and pieces for it. We have these other little pieces wherever they're going to go. We have these pieces here which look like they're going to be the end of some sort of cannon. Got some more bits and pieces. They're probably spinal bits for the Necron warriors, I'd say. There's some guard pieces going back there. There's the Tesla carbine cannons. There's the Overlord's Staff of Light, which is an amazing piece of weaponry anyway. But that's all the craziness. And this is one of those models I was like, I need to get it done, And then I was like, oh my goodness me. So when I got the sprue out, I was like, oh damn this, look at this is insane. But I felt the same way when I built the Triarch Stalker for Necrons. And that's, you know, that's built, painted, been on the table a good few times. So now I'm thinking, you know, I should do this. One thing I'm going to say with this though, when it comes to putting this on the table in a game, I might run it as an Annihilation Barge, just because that's initially what I wanted. Or I could run it as a Catacomb Command Barge. I haven't decided fully yet. So I'm going to finish getting set up and I'm going to come back to you for the first pieces. There is a lot of sub-assembly on this, as you'd imagine. Just looking at the instructions, you put the warriors together first, then where they sit, and then that goes on to the actual piece itself, and then you start flapping around the other bits and pieces. So this is probably going to be one of those videos where you're going to glue some bits together and have to leave it to dry for a couple of hours, and then glue some more bits together, leave that to dry, and then glue those two bits together. Just from looking at the initial first page of the instructions, that's the impression I get. But anyway, I'm going to finish getting set up and come back to you. Right, so the first two pieces we need are on this sprue here with the big guns. It's number 16. There's one there, and there's the other one. And then the other pieces that we need are on this sprue here with these crazy pieces. 17. These two, both 17. So I'm going to snip them off, clean them down, and show you how they go together. This is very, very straightforward. So you've got a front and a back. There's the front. What's that focus in? Okay. So that's upside down. That's the top. So the top has those three little pins coming up, and that just sits on there like so. Okay. And glue the other one together and come back to you for the next piece. So the next pieces we need are number 13, which is these two. So I'm going to snip them, clean them. That's where they go on. Just making sure, because there's reading on there saying the next part you don't glue them in, you just clip them on. So we'll have a look at it when we come to it, to make sure there's no little pins or anything that I don't tell you guys not to clip them off. But right, so there is a little tiny pin at the top there, and there's a hole at the bottom there that just slots in there like so. So it gives them the position of sitting down. So I'm going to move the other one on and then come back for the next ones. Right, so the next two pieces we need are these two crazy looking pieces here. These are number 14. There's two of them. And we need these two pieces here, number 15. Right, so when you're clipping this piece off, okay, there's these two little pins there. They have to stay. They're very difficult to see on the sprue, but they have to stay. Now, there's a little pin at the front here. Okay, there's a little clip there. So this has to clip on like so. Okay. So I'm going to glue that into place because they're saying the next piece doesn't get glued in. Well, one of the next pieces, the guys don't get glued in, they get slid on. But we'll have a look at that in a second. So the next two pieces we need are 22, which are these two pieces. They're on the same sprue as those weird looking pieces, number 14. Yeah, so they're just there. So we need these two. Right, so this piece, there's a funny little pinhole there, and you have this funny bit on top. That just slides on top like so. It'll actually sit there as well. That's absolutely nuts. So I'm going to glue that into place and then come back for the show you how the guys go on. Right, so what it's telling me next is these guys sit on there, okay? But as you can see, there's a little pin sticking out between the little U shape. There's two holes there. It doesn't tell me, I think it's the top one that's meant to go in there, but it sits on there. Now, the reason they don't want you to glue it yet is because when we go to the next stage, they get put in a position, then you got a chance to adjust them if you need to and glue them into place. So I'm going to just leave that there, find the next piece. Right, so the next piece you need to do is number 27, which is this piece here. That's on the same, that's where the bodies were, of the feet, shall I say, of the Necron guys. So that's the piece we need. Right, so what it's telling me now, that little square there, the little pin at the bottom, sits in there. So it sits on it like that. One goes this side, one goes that side. And the reason you don't glue the guys on straight away, because you might need to maneuver the guys into position better. So it's meant to be one looking that way, one looking that way. So I'm going to glue that into place and then glue the guys onto the seat properly, because I need to hold that for a few minutes. I'll come back to you for the next piece. Oh boy, that's a fiddly thing to put in. The connection point for there is very small. But I think I've got the bit coming down into the bottom hole. I think it's meant to be in the top hole, but it's too fiddly to messing around with. So if that is meant to be in the top hole, then you know, look, I've got it in the wrong one. But to me, it looks fine, looks okay. I hope there's no later on ramifications for that. But again, I've just noticed a little bit of a mould line along here. But any mould lines that you know, like I always say this, when you're building a model and you finish the model, like if you find a mould line halfway through building it that you've already glued something together, don't worry about it, because at the end there's a chance it could be covered up with something else, or you come through the sanding sponge and just give a gentle clean up. That's an absolute nightmare to put on. But it's gone on pretty easy. But I set a little fly buzz upon the camera in. I had to sit and hold it for a little while. But the glue, if you glue either side of the seat, not the bit in the middle, because that's where the legs sit, either side. So I'm going to glue the other piece on, and then come back to you for the next pieces then. Oh, my hole, that's difficult to put in. It's very fiddly. You would be better off gluing these pieces on first, yeah, leaving it to dry, then gluing the guys in. As I said, the first one I got it in the bottom hole, but I don't think it's meant to be in there. And this guy doesn't even look like it's in one of the holes. So I'm going to leave it to dry. I'm going to come with the next two pieces now. What I'm saying as well, you'll be forgiven if you built it and achieved the same thing I've achieved here. But in all honesty, it's not going to notice. It's not going to matter when you're looking at it. But when I build models, I want it to be perfect. I want to show you guys perfect, but Necrons are a bit of a challenge. Right, I want to make it a little bit easier. I need number 69 and number 70. Right, I apologise if you hear that strange noise in the background. The farmers are putting in something to do with a big metal thing for cattle to separate cattle out. But anyway, this is the simplest part of the build. You can see there's a hole there, there's a hole there, there's a pin that side, there's a pin that side. It just lines up nice and easy. I say nice and easy. Yeah, it just lines up nice and easy. Now there was a horrible join line going across there, so I'm going to just run my plastic glue along that just to get rid of horrible join line. Well, the next thing it's telling me to do is to put this onto there, but I'm going to leave that to fully dry first. So the next pieces we need are 60 and 61, and then 30 and 71. So I'm going to take these two pieces off first, show you how they go together, and the other two are going to go the same. Right, this is another very easy piece. You see there's a little lip there, there's a plug there, there's a pin inside and a hole, and there's a hole that side as well, a pin that side. So that literally just sits on there like so. And the other one is exactly the same, so I'm going to do that off camera. Right, so instead of gluing that onto that and then putting them into there and going along as the instructions show me, I've flicked through the instructions. There's a couple more sub-assemblies to do, and I think it'd be easier to do the sub-assemblies first and put them to one side to let them dry, so I'm not having the same problem of trying to put them in and they keep falling off and everything else. So with that said, the next piece needed is number 62, which is this crazy piece here. It's on the same sprue as the big guns, and number 20, which is on the sprue with the hands, it's on the sprue with this cloak thing. So I'm going to snip those two pieces off, show you how they go together. Right, this took me a little bit of figuring out. I saw how it went on, but I wasn't sure how it's set properly. There's a little prong there, and there's a little triangle piece there. That just sits in there like so. Okay. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Let's stand up right. Yeah, I do. So the next ones that are needed are number 29, which is the one next to the one we just took, and number 19. We just took that one there. So those two pieces, they're going to go on exactly the same way. Right, so the next two pieces needed are number 65 and number 66. They're on the sprue with these big pieces. Okay. Right, so this piece here has that little weird pin that side. There's the same that side. I've set up bits of glue as you can see, and that just slots in there like so. Okay, nice and easy, very simple. So I leave all those pieces to dry. There's this piece goes on the front here of the Catacomb Command Barge itself. I believe it slots into there, but we'll figure that out when it comes to it. Right, so now this lovely piece, there is actually this little weird shape here that just glues in there. Okay, so when it's done, there's the control panel facing the guys. So I'm going to glue the other ones the same the other side. So I'm going to glue those two in and then come back to you for the next sub assembly. So this is what we have now. So obviously I'm going to leave that to dry before I start trying to glue that into anything. Right, so the next sub assembly we're going to need is the Overlord. So we need number 6, which is this amazing cloak, and number 7, which is his body part here. I'm going to snip them, clean them, show you how they go on. Now this part's very straightforward. Got these triangle bits at the bottom. You can see there's this triangle bits there. I already put glue onto it. Just slots into each other like that. Now you might need to, which I'm probably going to have to do, just run some glue along the top there because the join line is horrible. It's too much glue come out then, Jesus. Petition tapped it off. Right, the next piece we need is number 5 in this corner here. It's on the same sprue. We just took this piece and this piece, and that's up here. Right, this piece is very, very straightforward. There's 2 holes in the little gap there. There's 2 pins. That just goes in there. Very, very straightforward. Glue it into place. Right, so the next piece is number 3, which are these legs here. On the same sprue, there's where the body was, front of the body. Right, much like the guys, there's a little hole in there, There's a little pin on top, so it just slots in there. Right, so the next piece we need is number 8, which is his staff. Okay, now with number 8, I'm not going to have to show you this, just tell you it. There's a little ball bit on the end here. Okay, focusing the damn thing. And in the arm here, there's a little socket, so it goes in there. And before someone says, oh, the join line, I know that, I'm going to sort that afterwards. So there's that one. Now the other arm is either number 4, which is on the same sprue as this lovely piece, okay, which that's him holding the railings that we're going to make here, or it's 76 and 77, and that, there's a little pin there. There is a little hole, sorry, a little pin on there, so it slots on the end, make a little place holding the orb. Now you don't need to go with that one. I'm going to go with the other one holding the railing, and just you can just, he has the orb in his pocket. Doesn't really matter. Of course, if you're building the Annihilation Barge, which I wanted to build, you don't need to worry about the Overlord, so you can bypass this whole step. Apart from, you can bypass it in the sense of what you're building, yeah. But then you can build the Overlord because he comes with your base to go on base to be on foot with the rest of the troops. Again, the arm just goes into a little socket. So I'm going to sort them out, glue them on, and his head. There's his head. I saw it. There it is. Number 1. It's on the same sprue as. Where are we? Same sprue as the arm. Okay, number 1. Again, the head just slots in there. So I'm going to sort those pieces out. Oh no, sorry, number 2 is a piece we're missing. Right, don't worry about the head for. Oh, there's number 2. Oh my goodness me. Right, don't worry about the head for a minute. I'm going to sort the arms out on him first, and then I'll come back with number 2 and number 1. Right, so the next 2 pieces we need are number 2, which is this piece up in the corner here. It's on the same piece as the arms, but it's very easy to miss. And we need the Overlord's head, which is number 1, which is right next to the big guns. That is what it looks like. So I'm going to snip those off, clean those down, I'll show you how they go onto the body. Right, this is very fiddly. So number 2, just it goes in there, not like that, but it goes in there. It actually goes in like that. It's a little bit, it's very, very fiddly. That's how it goes in. Okay, and then the head just sits up on top. So again, the head's going to be very fiddly, so I'm going to leave that for a few minutes to dry, then glue the head up on there. Okay, and then we're going to come for the next sub-assembly. Now some of you notice there's a resurrection orb here. That's because in true fashion I dropped the other arm and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I was like, you know what, damn that, I'll just go with the resurrection orb. So that's why that's on there. But anyway, right, so the next one we need is number 32, which is this. Okay, it's on the same sprue as that piece. We're going to need both of these pieces, but first of all just take this one, number 32, and then we need number 64, which is this piece here. Okay, that's on the same sprue as the arms. So I'm going to snip those 2 pieces off, clean them, show you how they go on. That's quite straightforward. So this is 64, goes upside down. There is a little hole there, a little pin that just slots in there. so. Now the other piece, which is number 58, which is the other piece, like I said, this does the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to clip that off and glue that in, and then come back to the last two pieces for it. Right, the next piece we need is number 34, which is this piece here. Right, this might be another one of those pieces where you glue and then leave it to dry. So they see, that's what we're looking at. I've put some glue in there already. You see those two pins? They just go in there like so. Okay. Now this actual piece, I'm not actually going to use this on this Catacomb Command Barge. I don't like it. It's a nice piece, but it's annoying when you're trying to put it in and then you're trying to put the guy behind, or you're trying to paint it and you've got this and then it. So I'm not going to bother it, but I'm going to build it for you guys to show you. But I also want it for my kit bash Catan. So that's why I'm building it, and I'm showing you guys how to do it, but I'm going to keep it for that as well. Now the other piece that we need is 56, exactly the same, but it goes in the other side. So I'm going to put that on, and that is all the sub-assemblies done then. And we can go back to actually building the vehicle itself. So the first piece we need now to continue is 21, which is this head, and that is going to go on this guys. Okay, it's very straightforward. It just slots in the top there. Come on, slots in the top there. So I'm going to glue that into place, and I'll come back to show you where the next head is. Before I show you where the other head is, this top pin here, there's a hole in the back of the head, and that slots into there. Okay, so that's how it goes in. Very simple. It's not, I say it's very simple, it's just a pain in the backside to hold on and just push into place. So the next head that we need, let me find it first, is number 18, which is this one here. See the hole in the back of the head? And that's on the same sprue where we just took the two bits of the balcony from. Okay, same as the hands, it's just down this corner here by the guns. So I'm going to snip it, I'm going to glue it into place, and then come over for the next piece. And so the next piece that goes on is this piece, and this telling me slots in there like so. Okay, it's a little bit fiddly to get in, but it does slot in there. So that hole there lines up the hole that's there. So I'm going to glue it into place and then come back for the next piece. Right, these pieces, they go in here. So there's a little curvature gap in the middle there. There's a little pin there. This has a little pin here that has to be there. Now these guys, it doesn't matter what side it goes on, okay, as long as that pin is upwards, because they're both the same. So I'm going to glue them into place, and I think it's meant to be, I don't think it's meant to be down, I don't think it's meant to be up, I think it's meant to be just perfectly level. Okay, so it looks like that now. Trying to make sure that they are perfectly level-ish. They look pretty much spot on. There's no way of doing it. It's looking at the bits at the side here. Look at the bits at the side there. They look pretty much the same. Let's see this one. This one looks a little bit higher up. They look pretty much spot on now. Those of you that are wondering, I'm looking at little grooves in here and trying to judge the side one there. Look at the tiny little bit before the groove, and then trying to do the same on that side. So it's basically the same. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a little bit. Right, so the next piece we need is number 68, which is this little half sphere here. Yeah, it's flat on the other side. and we need this one here, which is number 46. So I'm going to snip clean, show you how they go together. Right, so this piece, there is, let me find it somewhere. This piece, there's one side that's slightly raised than the other. See that? When you look at this top piece is slightly raised. So it goes on, and you just keep twisting it around until it won't go no further. There we go. Yeah, now don't worry about the little mould line you see there in that piece, because this goes in like that. So now where this piece goes, the ball starts in that hole there, and this goes over the top, like so. So it gives you a nice little gap between that. So I'm going to glue that into place and come back to you for the next piece. Right, the next piece that goes on is the front piece, but it's saying not to glue it. Don't put no glue in there yet. I'll tell you why in a second, but you see how the prongs going together? Now, see I've missed a little bit of sprue there. When I glue that into place, I'm going to put plastic glue on that, that'll melt that away. The reason you don't glue it into place yet is because you might need to adjust it slightly for the arms, because the arms are meant to go on the control panels. Okay, so right, so starting with the arms, we'll start with this guy first. What we need is number 23 and 24. Now it's very self-explanatory. Okay, so this is one side, this is the other, you can easily see that. Now, this hand here is holding something, which is a little orb he's holding. So that would go into that slot there, I believe. Yep. No? Yes. Sorry, yes. Into that slot there. So I'm going to put this on, not glue it, just put it on. I'm going to snip these two arms off and glue them in, and glue that into place. Not this piece, just the arm onto there, and then I'll come back to you for the arms to the other side. Right, so there it is. I've had to put glue on that because it's an absolute, that's very difficult to get in. I think, in all honesty, this guy should be slightly that way a little bit more in his seat, or his seat should be slightly that way more, you know, but look, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of it because it's on, it looks fine. So the next two arms are 25 and 26 for the other guy. So I'm literally gonna, because I've put that glue on that front piece where the control panel is, I'm literally gonna glue the arm in, coming from a top angle, and then just let it just fall down onto the control panel. I'll give you a quick demonstration of what I mean. So when I glue it in, I'm going to glue the arm in, so it's up like that, and then use the mold line scraper just to push it down onto the control panel. Okay, look at that horrible mold line across on the inside of that. See it? Horrible mold line there. Just make sure you get all of those, because there'd be nothing worse than gluing it together, then seeing it and going, oh my goodness me, now I have to get a little tiny file to get in there and then get that. And there he is. So there was a lot of manoeuvring with the mold line scraper, just poking it back in and tucking the arm down, and you know, there was a lot of manoeuvring with that. But that's on there now, so that's nice. Now, so the next piece needed. Right, so you have to decide whether you're going to go with the Gauss cannon or the Tesla cannon. Okay, now it doesn't really matter which one you go with, because you could play one game with the Gauss cannon or play the other game with the Tesla cannon. It doesn't matter what weapon it's on, unless you go to a tournament and they go, oh no, that's the Tesla cannon, and you know, look at it, doesn't matter. But this is I'm going to go with the Gauss cannon, but this is Tesla cannon. You need this piece, number 73, and number, where are we, 50, which is this one here. Yeah, 150. Okay, they go together. Okay, very straightforward. You can see there's two pins, two holes there. There's two small pins there. Okay, it's very, very straightforward. You can see the bits there, bits going there, nice and easy. And that one then needs number 42, which is this little piece here, over the front of the barrel. Okay, but I'm not going with that one. I'm going to go with the Tesla Gauss cannon, which is number 74 and number 51. Okay, now I'm going to show you how these two go together, but it's exactly the same as the other one. So when I show you this one, you'll know how the other one goes together if you want to go with that gun. Now this is very straightforward. The wire goes at the bottom. There's a pin on the end that needs to stay. That just slots over the top, like so. You'll notice there's two little pins either side. Yeah, they line up perfectly. Now obviously there's a horrible join line, so I'm going to run the glue over the top there. Let's get rid of that horrible join line, and underneath, that's that piece done. Next piece we need is number 43 and number 41. Okay, these are where the hands were for the two guys at the front, so it's on the same screw as that. I'm going to snip and clean them. Right, so I put some glue in there. This end has a little open top, this end's flat top. The open top goes to the front here. There's a little circle thing, it goes on there like that. Be careful when you clean this, because you don't want to damage these three prongs hanging out either side. So the next piece that we need, it doesn't actually say on the instructions, but it's actually number 44, which is this piece here. Yeah, this is on the same screw actually. That's what it looks like the other side. Right, so back to this now. So this is the pin, the hole, it just slots in like so. Now that looks menacing. Right, so the next piece is back on the same sprue as the Tesla cannon. We need 52 and 53. Okay, we're going to need 38 and 75. I don't know why they were all numbered so weirdly, but we'll need those two separately. But I'm going to show you how to do 52 and 53, and the others are the same. You can basically see, look, there's pins and there's holes. Okay, but they have to go with the specific one. So 52 and 53, because that's going to be this side of the gun. Okay, right, so start a bit of glue on there. There's two pins, two holes, they just slot on like that. Okay, now the other one is exactly the same, so I'm going to snip those up and clean those down, but I'm putting this one to one side because that's that side. That's going to go that side on this mount. Right, so the next piece we need is number 45, which is this piece here. It's on the same screw as that big arc bit. Now, it's telling me to glue all this together and then put this piece on. Now, I'm telling you not to do it. I'm telling you to get this piece ready as well, because this piece supports those two pieces on. Look at the connection point. There's three little holes. No, not even holes. There's three little grooves that are supposed to clip into the rib parts there. Yeah, so there's going to be very little point of contact, whereas this then goes over the top and holds it all together, which I think is the best way to go. So I'm going to snip it and then I'll put it all together and show you how it goes together. Right, so before I glue it, I'm going to show you the best way to do it. These little things have to be on the side here, okay? This is slots in the top like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place first on both of them. Okay, so it looks like that. That's going to go together in there. Then what I'm going to do, this one has a pin at the front there and a hole there that glues into there. Okay, so once I do that, you have this hole here in the middle that sits on there. So I'm going to glue all those 3 bits together. I'm going to do it off camera because it's going to be a pain in the hole to do it on camera. And then I'm going to come back to you with the finished piece. It's actually easier than I thought it was going to be. I actually glued this piece on first to the gun, glued this piece in here, and then put a bit of glue on each one of those pipes, and put some glue on this piece, but on the bit that goes inside, both ends, and then literally just put that on, clip this piece in the top here, and it lined up perfectly. Then the same again that side, and there we go, nice and easy. So I'll leave that to dry for now. Right, so the next pieces I need are 72 and 49, which are these big massive pieces. I'm going to snip them, clean them, I'll show you how they go together. This is very simple, this piece. There's pins and there's holes, and it should all line up perfectly. There we go. The only thing is there's a little join line which we're going to just get rid of with a bit of glue. This is going to require me to hold it for a little bit because it's just trying to work its way out. Right, so the next thing to do is put the gun underneath. See these 2 holes? I've put some glue in them already. There's 2 pins. There's one. There's the other one. That just slots in there like so. Very straightforward. Down to dry for a little while. I'm having a problem with this bad boy because it won't stay closed. So I have to hold it, keep holding it and pushing it back into place. And when I push this side into place, this one starts to come out, but this one seems to be solid now. This one's just the one that's a problem. Anyway, let me show you how this goes on. This piece here slots into there. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place. It sort of goes in and locks. Then glue it into place and we'll come back for the next piece. Right, so the next piece needed is number 31, which is this crazy piece. Actually, sorry, the next piece we need is number 48, which is this piece here. And that sits in the top there. So I'm going to snip that off, clean down, glue that into place. And I'll come back and carry on with this piece. Right, so it goes this way round. Okay, the first piece we need is number 28, which is this piece, and it goes in the bottom one here. So I'm going to snip it off, show you how it goes on, and then the rest of them are exactly the same. Right, so this little contraption has a bigger side and a smaller side. The bigger side slots in there like so. Okay, so that's that one. The next piece we need for this one is number 33, which is this one here. Again, there's a bigger side and a smaller side, as you can see. The big side goes into there, so I'm going to simply clean that, put that on. Right, so the next piece that's needed is number 37, which is this one here. As you see, there's a big side and a small side. The big side clips into the top there. So I'm going to glue it into place, and this one is going to go on this side of the vehicle. Okay. Right, now it's telling me I need number 39, but that's saying 59. Very, very interesting. But that is the next piece that I need anyway. So I'm going to snip that, clean that. And then I'll run you through what order the little bits go into. But don't panic, because this kit is from the Imperium Magazine. So, like I said, when you get the box might have different numbers on the sprue and the instructions to what the Imperium Magazine has, but it should be just, pretty much the same. But that's the next piece we need anyway. So the first piece we need is number 63, which is this one here. Again, the big side, the small side, big side goes in the bottom there. Right, next one is 57. Okay, again, big and small, big side goes in the next gap. Of course, then the last piece, 54, goes in the top slot. Right, so this piece then goes on, very straightforward. This bottom piece hooks in there, and then it lines up along there. Now I thought it was meant to be in that gap there. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Something like that. But if that's not lining up properly, it tells me that no, it is. It sort of is. It is off slightly. Something like that. So it makes contact with this, and makes contact with the corner piece down here. So I'm going to glue that in that side. I'm going to glue the other one in the other side exactly the same. And then come back to you for, should be the final bits. Right, there we are. Now, for some unknown reason to me, that's slightly off. That's very off. This one isn't even touching. So I don't know what the hell I've done wrong there, because everything lines up perfectly fine. So I don't know. But anyway, there's nothing I can do about that now. It's a bit too late. Right, no, ignore what I just said. I fiddled with the bit at the bottom here, and it's still not right. I'm not happy with how right it's not perfect, but it's on, and it's connected, and it's sort of level. So that's that. Right. So the next thing would be this piece. Now there's 2 pins there, 2 pins there. There's 2 holes, and there's 2 holes. So that would literally just slot in there, like so, which is absolutely fantastic. And then the overlord himself, obviously you'd probably put the overlord in first, goes over here like something like that. And then you put the railing in. Now, I really wanted a Annihilation Barge. So what I want, I'm going to try and do. Now I've looked at the parts that I left, and I'm trying to figure it out. Obviously that's glued, so that's just straightforward. Okay, it's very simple. There's pins and there's holes, so that just slots over the top, slots in. Okay, I'm looking at this. We've got a few other pieces here, so first I'm going to do is glue this together, and then glue the bit that goes on the end, show you what that is, and then come back then cut all the other bits and pieces off and see if I can figure it out. Right, so I've got all the bits out here. This piece is very straightforward. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3 holes, and there's actually 3 pins. Let me show you this. 1, 2, 1 at the back. So the front part of that's going to have the emblem on it, facing forward. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now I don't know if this piece is meant to go in first. I'm trying to figure out, because the slightest little groove could be used to put something into. I don't know, but I know for a fact that these two go together like that. Okay, that's very straightforward. So they're upside down. There's 2 pins that side, 2 pins that side, so that must slot into something. Does it? Oh look, there we go, look. I think I've sussed it. I think I have figured this out. They go into there, don't they? Oh yeah, that goes into there. Yeah, that's very straightforward. Then this probably slots into. This probably slots into there, I'd say, like that. And then this probably goes over the top of all that. Does it slot there like that? It looks pretty cool like that, doesn't it? Or does it go in underneath? So there is pins to put it in. 1 minute, I think I've just had a brainwave. I'm dropping it down. Stay on there. Just that slot on there, like so. I think it does. I think it. No, it doesn't. Does that slot in? No, because the guns have to face forward. Give me a minute to figure this out. Right, so let's get the simple bits out of the way. These bits, okay, there's two holes, and there's actually 2 pins up there, so that slots over the top. Okay, so I'm going to glue them into place first, get them out of the way. Right, so these little pieces, I think they look like they go in like that. Okay, because they're sitting there nicely. I did try and run the other way. They don't kind of fit the other way. They seem to go on like that. Unless I've got that wrong way around. That'd still be the same. Yes, I think they go on like that. Now again, if I'm wrong, I haven't got no instructions to tell me different. But that fits in there nicely. Looks right. So I'm going to go for it. At this point, I haven't glued anything to the big model. So if I'm wrong, and I go, no, that's just shit, it just looks rubbish, it's wrong, I can't figure it out, I haven't lost nothing apart from a little bit of glue and a bit of time. This is the thing that's really bothering me. How the hell does this go in there? Does this sit up in there? And if so, then how does it? Just right. Right. So now I'm going to glue these 2 bits together. Okay. Very, very straightforward. I'm going to glue that together. I'm going to come back with it because I've still got this piece as well. Trying to figure out where it goes. Right, I figured out where this piece goes. This piece sits up on there. Okay. So there's the 2 bits at the back line up there. The 3 that side line up there to hold that side. Okay, so I'm going to glue that into place. I'm actually going to just wait for this to dry because that's all correct. The only thing I'm not sure of is it looks like that one side. Ignore the little bit of sprue there just because I can clean that upwards. It looks like that side and the other side looks like that. So I don't know if that is correct, but then if it goes the other side, it's going to be exactly the same. Just is it stuck in there now? Of course it is. So that might be wrong. That might be the wrong way around. But I don't know. But I don't know. See, the pipes are usually underneath. But then there's this curvature there. Oh, that looks like sights. So sights. So this goes into that. Very straightforward. I see that how that goes in. Yeah, nice and easy. Now how the hell does it connect into this? This doesn't. I don't know. I'm going to leave that to dry and just have a think about things and how it goes on, and I'll come back to you when I have the answer. Right, so I think I figured it out. We know where that goes, okay? Now, and we know that the bottom of the cannon sits into those pieces. I think that sits in there. I'm going to put it in, but I'm going to probably put it in the wrong way. Sits in like so. That's how I think it sits in. Obviously, I think these bits have to be around this way a bit more. But that's how I think it sits in. Now, if I'm wrong, you know, do forgive me, guys. But it looks like each one of these little bits that come up are sitting on the same piece going round. So unless I know, I think it's got to be on there like that. There we go. No, sort of like that, but something like that anyway. I know that it looks right. So I'm going to glue that into place, and then glue that into there, and then glue the cannon on, and come back to you for final thoughts. And there we have it. I'm absolutely delighted with that. I actually wanted the Annihilation Barge to start with. Now I can see a few horrible mould lines that I missed, but you can see that one along there, but you know, and a bit of sprue that I missed, but it doesn't matter, because once it's all dry, I come back in with the sanding sponge and the clip and just snip and sand down and clean down. But wow, absolutely fantastic. I'm delighted I got the Annihilation Barge out of it, and also have an Overlord on foot as well, so that's nice. Now I built this from the Imperium Magazine, and they wanted you to build the Catacomb Command Barge, which is fine. It's a great model anyway, but I wanted the Annihilation Beam because I think one thing my Necron force is lacking is big, heavy weaponry. Now, I do have heavy low-cost destroyers, and you know, I do have some units that can really pump out some serious firepower, but these is a nice little sting in the tail, because this, you target a unit with this Tesla arcing beam, I think it's called, or twin Tesla arc beam, whatever it's called. And then once you work out damage and you hit roll, work out damage for it, you are a D6 for that model, that unit it hits, it shoots at, plus any enemy units within 3 inches of it. On a 5+, you roll D6 for each one. Each one that rolls a 5+ takes D3 mortal wounds. So that's quite tasty. And I think there's a 36-inch range on it, I think. So that's, what's it, 48-inch range, something like that. But that's actually pretty nice. Difficulty for this model, I'm going to give it probably a 7. As some people say, oh, that's quite high, a 7. The reason why is there's a lot of sub-assemblies to start with. I'm not going to include the Overlord, but he is one sub-assembly because I've made the barge. But putting the guys on, they were, you know, difficult to try and get them lined up properly and everything else. Doing this sub-assembly for the few jars, the piece at the front. And again, I'm not even going to include this because that was pretty straightforward, but that's sub-assembly as well. Trying to do this and do it, for me there was too many small fiddly pieces. I think the easiest part of the fiddly pieces was the Necron heads. They slotted in perfectly. So I'm going to give this guy a 7 because it did actually frustrate me for a while, and I actually got a headache from how many fiddly pieces are, and I was trying to concentrate too much. But with that said, I'm delighted it's built. It's absolutely fantastic. If I've got this part wrong, but the gun goes on, so comment below, guys, and let me know, because again, the instructions doesn't tell me that, it just tells me how to make the Catacomb Command Barge. But I'm actually delighted with this. Now it does have a flying stand, and the flying stand goes in there. I'm not putting it on yet because I want to I will undercoat the top first, and then when that's dry, turn it over and undercoat the bottom, and then glue the flying stand into it. I'm actually delighted this is done. That's another one off the Imperium Magazine, because that Imperium Magazine there's still like 30 issues here for me to build, including 3 Paragon warsuits for the Sisters army. It's like, oh my goodness me, there's heaps of Necrons there, heaps of Space Marines, heaps of Sisters, a Penitent engine as well, a Redemptor Dreadnought. Just there's so much to do, so I'm glad there's another one done out of that. So guys, chuck the comments below, you know, what you think about this model and everything else as normal. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button because it costs you absolutely nothing. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. Everyone smash the thumbs up button so it triggers YouTube, shares the video of more and more people, which makes this amazing community of you guys grow even more. Just have a look at that. But I must say, this is an amazing sculpt. I said, don't worry if there's any mould lines I've missed or any bits of, I always give them once over before I look at that piece there. There's a horrible mould line along there, and there's a little bit of sprue there that I missed. There's actually a mould line there as well, but again, it doesn't matter. Absolutely fantastic. So much detail in it. I can't wait to get some paint onto this bit. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, take it easy.